I won't smack them. I will just pinch them. Or feminists, they frown on it, Yeah, that's all they know. One time you are going to actually kill your child, not because you wanted to, but because you are so angry at that moment and you just want to do something.
Hey mamas, welcome back to the Whole Mama Show. I'm your host, Aisha O'Reilly, and we're revealing the untold stories of motherhood. So, how many of you were hit or spanked as a child? And how many of you feel like it wasn't such a big deal? You turned out okay anyways, or the opposite, that it has stayed with you until today? So today's episode is about exactly that. Disciplining your children. What's too much? What's not enough? And the idea of gentle parenting. I know that's a huge buzzword right now, and it's something that a lot of us are probably confused by. I can definitely say that I'm not quite sure what gentle parenting is exactly. So before we get into anything, please remember to join the Mama Village by subscribing to my channel. And you can watch all of the other episodes of the Whole Mama Show right here on YouTube. And you can listen to the audio version on any podcast player. And today's mama guest is sharing her story on how she used to resort to physical discipline with her firstborn until she felt like, you know what, this isn't working for us.
You're not the only mama challenged by gentle parenting.
Joey Dlamini is a social worker, mother, content creator, wife, friend, and a whole author of her own book. This is her story. All right. Hi, Joey.
Hi.
I am so happy that Joey has joined me on the Whole Mama couch today. I have been following Joey for, I don't know how long, a few years now, at least from 2020. And Joey is always sharing such great gems about motherhood, about like self-acceptance, and just being a woman in general. So she's here with me today to share her journey in motherhood. So for the benefit of my listeners and my watchers, please can you share a little bit about who is Joey and who calls you mama?
So, who calls me mama? It's Ogi, 16-year-old, Siamo 10, and Asa 4 years. I've got a lot of kids, I hear me say. I'm a qualified social worker, I'm a content creator, I'm an author, and a wife, and a mom, and a sister. I'm someone who believes in the goodness of people. So my message is usually about that. Yeah.
A whole author. That's what, for me, I'm like, look, it's great. Obviously, you're a mom and you're a wife. I love the whole author thing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what have you written?
I've written the Teen Top 25 Foundational Life Lessons for a Thriving Journey to Adulthood. The reason why I wrote it is because when I was a teenager, we did not have books that spoke to us and our experiences. And right now, parents are complaining about AMA 2000,
Yeah.
A lot of parents, they don't know how to raise them, how to support them. And the kids are complaining about their parents that they do not understand them. So I just wanted a resource that parents and their kids, they can use together. Yeah, here is it. So these are the 25 lessons I wish I would have been taught before I became an adult. Like one example, the issue of purpose. Some of us, we are only discovering our purpose now. Yeah, it's a buzzword for everyone.
Yes.
The issue of what happens when you fail. What do you do? Doesn't mean that you are a failure. And setting goals. Others, we are only learning these things on our own, even finances. So I talk about all these things in my book.
I think I need to read that book for myself.
Please, I actually recommend it because a lot of us, we are also unlearning.
Yeah.
So this book, it actually helps you as a parent to start the unlearning process so that when your kids become teenagers, you are already ready. And these lessons, they don't apply to teenagers.
Yeah.
They apply to your kids throughout the different stages. Because we are teaching them all these things one way or another.
So where do we get this book from?
You can get it directly from me.
Yeah.
You can DM me or from my website,
Okay.
or you can buy it on Amazon.
I would like to know, how did you become a mom? Can you share a little bit of that journey?
Okay. So I had my first child when I was 23 years old. And looking back at it, we had no business wanting a child. The reason why, it was that thing, you start dating.
Yeah.
Next thing, the automatic things that we must have a child. Because I remember before I fell pregnant, we tried so many times. And I wouldn't fall pregnant for some weird reason.
Yeah.
I had so many tests. But now that I have my kids, I realized that there was no reason. I was only 23. I just finished graduating from varsity. I just started working. Habi was trying to build his business. So we were not really stable.
Yeah.
We were staying with my in-laws. That's how unstable we were. But still, with all those things going on, we felt that we wanted a child. And I think it's the pressure from society and the expectation that when you are together, you are in love, you're supposed to have a child.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, we were not ready for that child. We didn't think about that child, that why are we bringing this child here? It was more about us.
That's so interesting and the reason why I'm also saying that is because I feel like a lot of us have that kind of sort of like thinking or mentality of like, we're in love.
Yeah.
We're good. And it's almost, and maybe it's not just us, but it's like you were saying, society kind of making it seem as if to prove your love, you have a baby.
We do not consider those things, Even emotionally, I was not okay because we were still starting out. And I come from a background, my mom was a single mom. So I knew that when I started working, I need to go back home and build a house for my mom and my sisters. I need to take care of them.
Yeah.
So now I'm bringing another added responsibility on top of that. We did not have our own house. And yet we brought that person. It was a family house. It was my mom-in-law, my late mom-in-law, my 3 sisters, my husband. No, it was too many people in the house. And now I'm bringing this person. So for me, I feel like the foundation, it was not the type of foundation I wanted for my child. I wanted things to be different for him. But I didn't really think about it at that time. I was just excited, like, no, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a baby. And Habi was there. We were so excited. He was the first grandchild for both my mom and my mom-in-law. And also for Habi, there was that pressure because his younger sister had a child. So there were rumors that maybe he can't have babies. That is why all his friends had babies.
By the time you guys were 23?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
All his friends, he's 6 years older than me, so he was 29.
Okay.
So for everyone, it was like, it was a bit too late. He was supposed to already have a child. So there was that pressure and there was a relief that, at least he can make babies. That's how I was, imagine, you see, the whole conversation is not about this child.
Yeah.
It's about us and what we think and what society thinks and our fears. So yeah.
Sure. So, but you were excited though.
Yeah.
You were pregnant? How did that go? I was pregnancy.
I was very excited, but I was vomiting literally every day until the last day I gave birth.
Yeah.
Besides the vomiting, I was okay. I was able to eat. We were all excited. I had great support. My mother-in-law, she was there. My mom. I remember the day I gave birth. I was supposed to come back. I went back home in Limpopo so that I'm going to give birth so that my mom can take care of me.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to come back here in Joburg to have my baby shower. But they were fighting about my baby shower. Like, my husband wanted to be involved. I don't know why. So they were fighting about it. Then my son was like, no, let me just come today so that the baby shower will be cancelled. So I had him on the 27th April, Freedom Day.
Oh.
Then Harvey had to come there, that side, using taxis from Joburg coming to Limpopo so that he can come and see us. So when I was actually pushing the last push, he was at the gate. So
Did he miss it?
Yeah, he used it, but he was able to be the one to dress him because immediately when he came in, the nurses were about to dress him. Yeah.
And so how was that, like, afterwards? That sort of the newborn, new mom stage for you, like mentally, emotionally. How are you doing in that postpartum period?
I think at first I was just winging it.
Yeah.
Because my mom was there and she was so involved.
Yeah.
I remember when I came back home, she was sleeping with me and my son in the same bed. And she would wake up at night and jump, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" Like, the baby's here, So, and she was so involved even with the bathing and everything. But I realized something, that if I allow her to continue like this, I'm not going to learn how to take care of him. So I had to ask that, okay, Mama, can I please learn how to take care of Oki? You will support us. And it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And I had to also deal with the traditional aspect. So I'm Betty, my husband is Sun. So for us in our culture, after 3 days, when the umbilical cord falls, the child, they cut their hair.
Yeah.
For hubby's side, they don't cut the child's hair. They will only do it when the child turns 1 year old, and then they do a ceremony. So this was where me and him, we needed to decide what is our tradition as a couple, as a new family. So one of the things, I did not cut his hair. The umbilical cord, I threw it in, I flashed it instead of giving it to them, because I was like, I don't even know what's going to happen. When he turned 1, we didn't cut his hair, we continued. So that was a period where I had to learn how to stand for myself and for him, and to create our own traditions and values as a family. So the family was supportive, but it wasn't easy for them because I was coming up with all these rules. I remember they used to say, "Oh, give me a magazine," because I say, "No, the magazines are not saying that."
That's like your point of reference.
Exactly. Yeah. So they were calling him that because everything, I was like, no, they don't say that. One of the things, they wanted me to feed him before 3 months. I'm like, no, I'm going to breastfeed him.
Feed him what?
Porridge, like civil, yeah. A lot of people do that, yeah. So I don't know. He's not going to be full with breast milk alone. I'm like, no, but the magazines are saying it's enough. And thankfully, he was growing, and they were actually shocked. So now I was the example. They were showing everyone that, look at Joey's child, and can you believe he's not eating anything except breast milk?
Yeah. And breast milk is that's like a whole other episode for me, because it's so amazing.
Yeah,
and it's so misunderstood.
Exactly.
Like you're saying.
Yeah.
So obviously it was like quite a time for you to kind of like readjust under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
But then obviously there's this added kind of like pressure, and the families watching you guys and all of that. When did you come to a point where you kind of felt like, okay, I think I've kind of got this? Because let's be real, even now we can't really genuinely confidently say that we've got this.
No.
But more like, okay, he's okay, we're okay.
I only went back to work when he was 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was so amazing. I'm so grateful. Yeah, that was so amazing. So I was applying because my contract ended when I was 7 months pregnant.
Okay, yeah.
So then I went back home. So I only went back to work when he was 9 months. And that's when I was feeling like, okay, I'm more comfortable. He is like a real human being now. He can eat. I can leave him with other people. Because at the beginning, he was my bank.
Yeah.
I was going everywhere with it. Some of the things I changed when I had my second born.
Yeah. I think all of us did. Because like the first one, it's like they live in this like almost like protective bubble.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like to the book, it's like, and then the second one is like, okay. And now, like for me with Maya being the third born, I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
No, I get you.
Okay. She'll live. It's fine.
I fully am.
Yeah. I think it's very similar. So what would you say has been the most challenging part of your motherhood journey?
I think disciplining them.
Disciplining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, it is still a challenge.
Yeah.
Because for me, especially with my qualifications and everything, I wanted to be a different mom for my kids. And one of the things was how I disciplined them. I wanted it to be different. I did not want to beat them or use corporal punishment.
Yeah.
But the reality, especially with Onki, I ended up using it.
Yeah.
Because that is what I knew.
Yeah.
And I believe that the person that I am today, it's because of how my mom raised me.
Yeah.
And it's not like she was beating me all the time, but I knew that if I did certain things, it was going to go to that level. And I had accepted it as, okay, this is what happens. When you parent kids and they don't listen, this is what you do. You will be forced to do this. So when I had Oki, I thought that I'm not going to be that mom. But unfortunately, I did. Because that was the only thing I knew. Until I had Siamo, and I think when I was doing my second degree, social work degree, that's when I realized that, no, there has to be a better way. But the unfortunate thing is that because I'm so used to that method, even when I'm trying new things, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder that, am I spoiling them? You know, maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm supposed to do a little bit of it. You know, I went from, okay, I won't smack them, I will just pinch them. But at the end, where I am right now, it did not resonate with me. I felt that there has to be a better way for me to correct and teach my kids without using physical punishment. And it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy because also families, they frown on it, you know. Yeah, that's all they know. Yeah, it's like, okay, what are you saying? You turned out okay. And society, most of the people who were raised like that, they feel like, no, you are spoiling your kids. Kids are going to turn out okay. So I have to keep on trusting that I know what is best for us and for my kids. Even with Habi, first it started with saying, okay, you want to eat, I'll be the one who does it. Because I felt like, that is too harsh. With me, I felt like I can control myself. But then now when we are, it's like completely we don't.
So both of you don't use any kind of physical, what's the called, like reprimanding, I guess.
Yes.
With any of your kids. I guess we call it gentle parenting, really, isn't it? Because that's, as far as also how I started following you and what I know of a lot of your content, you're a huge advocate for gentle parenting. So before you started practicing gentle parenting, how did you discipline Oki?
I will talk to him, but then if it comes to a point where I feel like, no, he's not listening, I will actually I'll either beat him or I'll pinch him, what I was saying, that I feel like it's not too much.
Yeah.
But it will happen that time.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted to come to a place where it's not an option at all. Like where even if they do whatever, no matter what they do, I know that I'm not going to use that as an option. There was a time, I think he was in grade 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I was not going to work. I was still home. He said he used to go with one of his uncles. Like, no, I'm walking to school. I'm busy. I need. I'm like, okay, baby. I think he's joking.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, bye-bye, mom. Bye, baby. What? So I'm thinking he's going to the uncle because he's next door. Oki actually walked. He wanted to walk to school. And he's being driven to school because it's far away. So after a while, the uncle comes. It's like, where's Oki? I've been waiting for him. But no, Oki left. Only to find out that he walked. So I left. I remember I was wearing a gown. I walked in the street. I was looking for him and seeing all these buses and taxis. And I'm just praying that nothing happened to him because he was small. He was like 7 or 8. Gogo calls me and says someone came. There's a couple that came with Oki. They found him. They found him in a garage and they see the uniform. So they know the school is far. So they're asking him, where are you going? It's like, I'm going to school. Where's your parents? No, my mom said I can walk to school. So they are coming because they wanted to see this mom say an 80-year-old can walk. Where is going to cross all these highways when I got there, I found them. He was safe and everything, and they left. After they left, I took my slipper. I beat him. I was so angry and crying. And someone can say, yes, you are justified. What he did was wrong. But now, if I think about it, he didn't see anything wrong.
Yeah.
For him, he was like, I'm walking. You see other kids walking.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand how far that thing. He doesn't understand the risk. And when I was beating him, I was crying, beating him at the back,
On his bum.
Yeah, on his bum. That's what I used to do. I don't like the just because it's like I'm justifying it. Yeah, like it's not bad. Yeah, on his bum. Then I started crying and everything, and I called Tabby because he was not around. So those kind of things. And you get angry at that moment. That was my other reason why we stopped. Because I said, one time you are going to actually kill your child, not because you wanted to, but because you are so angry at that moment and you just want to do something. Like you will literally shake your child and maybe they fall. Or sometimes those are the things we saw growing up. You take a thing, an object, and you throw them with it. Because when you are angry, you want to inflict pain. Whatever you find, you are going to use it. And I was talking to Hani that I don't want to go to court and defend you or Onki and have to choose between the two of you because of this. Looking back at how we grew up, it was a norm. Even at school, they will hit you with a shampoo and it was fine. And sometimes it's not that parents, they wanting to kill a child or do something like that. It's that thing that when you are angry and beating someone, you actually forget and nothing is enough. I remember there was a time and I was beating him and I was saying, you don't even answer. Then when he responds, you are talking back. And those are the words they used to say to us. When you respond, you are wrong. When you keep quiet, you are wrong. So I was like, what am I actually asking for? So those are some of the reasons. Because as much as you feel like you can control yourself, the reality is that there will be a day where you can't control yourself because you are just so angry and you will say, I lost control. I didn't mean to, but the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so deep.
It had to get to that level for me to really understand it because, as I said, growing up, I was beaten by adults in my life. It was a norm. And I remember I even justified it because there was a time where my late uncle, I was helping him. He had a spaza shop, so I used to help him there. So there was a time I stole money from there.
Yeah.
And I will go, peer pressure, I'll go and buy things for my friends at school and what. Then he found out. So he beat me. And when I was sitting, I remember I had a journal I was writing and I'm like, thank God he found me and beat me because I could have been a thief. Where would I have ended up?
This is you writing as a child in your journal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we normalize it to such a point that even the child, they can really accept because after I decided, I went back to Oki and apologized.
Yeah.
And I apologized that I'm sorry for how I raised you, for beating you when you did wrong things. It was wrong of me. And he said, no, Mom, I understand. I was wrong. And I said, no, you should not understand. I was wrong. I was the adult. I should have known how to control myself. And you should never feel that someone has a right to hurt you because of your actions. We are supposed to control how we react. What I'm trying to prevent is that he's a boy child. When he grows up, I don't want him to abuse someone else and say, it's because I love you. My mom used to do it to me because she loved me. And raising Aisha, I don't want her to accept abuse because she saw us beating her because we love her. So it is that deep for me. Yeah.
There's so many nuggets here. But this most recent one about you don't want it to become so normalized that your male child becomes a man who beats, and you don't want your girl child to become a woman who accepts abuse.
Yeah.
Right? I'm curious, I think I'm going to be speaking for a lot of parents, especially African parents here, where, a lot of the sort of conversations about, or rather the opinions against not beating your child, it comes with, but that's different. It's different because I'm the parent and they're the child. So there's a bit of a like hierarchy, when you're, husband and wife, then you're equals. But if you're a mother and a child, there's a hierarchy there. So it should be okay for me to discipline my child this way, because how else are they going to know better? It's okay because it happened to me and I turned out okay. It's okay because at a certain age, they don't understand words. So I'm curious on your side, like, for you and your husband, how did you get to this point where it's a complete no matter what, we are not physically disciplining our children? And I think it was a post that I read of yours, or no, I think it was the talk last week, where you said that you didn't even call it disciplining. You said beats. You like replace the word discipline with beats, so that you can actually like really we can appreciate the actual impact of that action. It's not, because when you say discipline, it sort of softens it a little bit.
Even smacking.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a smacking.
Yeah, but then when you say, I beat my child, it has a different weight to it. So I'm curious on your side, how did you kind of navigate all of those kinds of like societal explanations, really, of physically disciplining children?
Honestly, it hasn't been an easy one, because for both me and my husband, we come from homes where we were beaten. And we were talking about it. I think most of the time for the block is that we feel that if I say my mom was wrong, am I questioning who she was to me? Am I not respecting her or honoring who she was? Like, especially for me, my mom is gone, even for her. But what I've learned is that you can honor and respect your parents and still disagree with how they raised you. And also give them grace for the fact that they did not know better. And they raised you with the resources that they had. And things are different. We have platforms like this. Our parents did not have such platforms. And they were raised in an environment that was so violent. Everything was violent. So that is the only language that they knew. They were abused at work. They were abused outside. So it was a norm for them. Abuse was the language. That is not the same reality for us. So why do you feel that you need to continue disciplining in that way? Why don't you allow yourself to see that maybe there's a different way? And I will always take it back to the issue of gender-based violence. It doesn't start when a child is old, he's a man. It starts from this age. Even the issue of bullying. If you look at it, they will say that some of the bullies is because they have been bullied themselves, or it's because from their home they are not being taken care of, or they come from homes where violence is a norm for them. Hence, they are going to do it with other kids. So we can't look at it in isolation, because it affects all these different systems. As much as people will want to say that, no, I do it when I'm calm. I mean, no, it does. Like, how are you?
That was going to be my next thing, because because how you're saying now, it's, and I agree with you that you're not the only parent who will be angry while beating or disciplining their child, right? But what about those parents who, they are calm, they're not doing it because they're angry? It's more, let's look at that example that I brought up earlier, where I said that a lot of parents would say, but at this age, say they're 2 or 3 or 4 years old, they're not at a level from a maturity point of view to understand words and how to explain to them that what they did was wrong or dangerous or whatever. So, but they do understand a little bit of pain, on the bum, on the hand, or whatever it is.
A friend of mine actually asked me one time, if it's a child, because they don't understand weights and all these things. So, but And I said, the fact that we are comfortable with it. This person does not understand words, but we feel that we are okay with us a little smack on why can't we find other ways of teaching them? And I think that is why we have people who will try time out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We have people who will maybe take away that thing from us. My issue is that we have normalized violence so much that we are okay even with saying this person can understand, but they are going to understand this. They are going to understand me as making them at the back. So I was saying we need to come out and find other ways. And if we look at our world, what kind of a world are we living in? Violence is such a problem. So we should not even be okay with it from an early age. And I love the point you were making about parents. We feel that I'm the adult. But why are we not modeling the type of behavior we want to see? And the type of behavior, we don't want to raise violent kids.
No, we don't.
You know, the mistake with us parents, we expect that I'm going to say it once, then it's over.
Yeah.
We expect that I'm going to teach you, like for me, so unrealistic to say, I'm going to tell you once and you must do it.
Yeah.
And I must not come back and remind you. When we look at our world, in our workplaces, they teach us over and over. We have performance appraisers, we have coaching, we have trainings. And the reason we are having all these things is because we know that as human beings, we need a reminder. We need continuous, consistent, learning. So why are we expecting our kids to just be told something once and they must do it? These people are developing. And sometimes we expect things that are beyond their developmental age.
Yeah.
Like, people will get angry that a child is not sitting still. Kids can sit still at all.
That's me. That's me. Like at the dinner table, like, can you just sit on your bum? Like,
it's not easy. It's easy for us because we are adults.
Yeah.
But for them, it is not an easy thing to just sit like this.
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because I love some advice.
Yeah.
On my side, and I know that a lot of people listening and watching today, they can say that they practice gentle parenting, right? And I say gentle parenting very sort of like broadly because I feel like I haven't really found a sort of, definitive definition of what gentle parenting is. Some blogs say this, some articles say that, some content creators say this. And so it's, for me, I find it quite overwhelming as a parent. And honestly, the things that I've come across, I also feel like it's not very realistic. I'm going to be real with you.
No, be real. I want to.
So, but I'm curious because you mentioned obviously that you stopped with Oki, and then when Siama was born, from then on, you guys haven't really, it wasn't an option, right? But it's hard.
Very.
So from like your experience, what is working? What do you feel like is working? Putting aside the thought of, am I spoiling my kids? Because we don't know how they're going to end.
Yeah.
We don't know how any of our kids are going to end, right? Whether they're disciplined physically or not, or whatever. But for you right now, as a gentle parent and an advocate against, physical discipline to children, what do you feel is working? How can I, for example, as a parent who is trying to discipline their children, how do we do it in a way that's not physically harming them?
For me, what has been working is communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pretend that I get it all the time. There are times where I shout. There are times where I get angry. There are times I almost I remember there was a time I was going to an event and Siamo said something to me. I was talking and he responded. And when I turned back, the way I called him, I was like, this child, if I can hold it. But because of the work I'm doing with myself, I was able to hold myself. And sometimes it looks like because of their age, they know if you do 1, 2, 3, this is going to happen.
Right.
And we do it as a family. All of us, we agree so that they are not surprised. Because one of the things I realize as parents, you were expected to act in a certain way, but no one really told you.
Right.
Then the day you don't do that thing, then everyone is on your case about, no, why are you doing this? Why? So we communicate about these things before they happen. And we also communicate about our family values. What do we value as a family? One of the things I'm very big on is honesty. That I want them to be honest. But that also required me to work on how I react to their honesty. Example, if my child breaks a cup, I want them to be able to say, Mama, I broke a cup, instead of throwing it away without showing me.
Right.
But then it means when they break a cup, can't say, you see, you're breaking everything. And because some of us will react like that. As if the child wanted to break the cup. Right. Or like they intentionally wanted to. So we had to come up with the rules. Phone, the issue of phone. I think it's a struggle for most of us. Now, if you are going to use your phone when you said you are not supposed to, I take it. It's part of the discipline. And what I've noticed, kids, as much as we think the beating, it works, it doesn't really work. And I remember with my aunt, she would say to my grandparents that you can beat my body, but you're not beating my soul. And you know what? Tomorrow she will go back and do whatever they were beating her for. Or she will stop for a week and she starts again, because they were now changing how she thinks. It was just a temporary solution. And if we are all honest, it is just a temporary solution. But when you are communicating and you are giving them discipline that is going to actually make them feel it. For example, Oki loves his phone. So I know that when I take his phone, it affects him. Beating him did not affect him. Yes, he was crying for that time. But after that, it's done. But when he actually understands that they are going to take my phone, something that I feel, so I need to make sure that I do whatever I said. So find and it won't be the same for every family. Right. And also you need to understand that it is a continuous thing. It is not a one size fits all for everyone. And it's not something you do once, then it's done. Give your kids the grace to understand that it's going to take time for them to get there. Like, I'm still busy with my kids. That's why I'm saying it's a constant conversation with us. You go back, sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe I should try this. Maybe I should. Because we are not really sure. We are just, there are things that based on how I was raised and the research that I have read, I feel like physical discipline, it does not have a place for my kids. But other things I continue to learn.
Can I ask you to elaborate a little bit on why is it hard? Because if you feel it deep in your heart that beating your child or physically disciplining them is not the right thing to do, it's not going to teach them anything, what's making it hard for you right now to stick to that?
I think it is that I'm learning. It took me how long? Like, I've had kids 16, 17 years. So it means for 22 years of my life, I was believing that physical discipline is the way to go. So now I'm busy and learning that it is not an option. So my automatic reaction is physical discipline.
Okay. That's like default settings, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then now I'm teaching myself that there's another way. So it is really not an easy one. And also I think because it is not a norm for everyone. Where physical discipline, everyone, you'll find someone who's supporting you. You'll find someone who say, beat them, shy, whatever. But when it comes to this one, and you don't find so much support. So it means I need to keep on reminding myself, why am I doing this? As they grow, every stage, it comes with a different OD who's doing things differently. When I think, okay, now I understand him, some of the challenges are like this and we can resolve it like this. Then he comes with the new ones like, Mom, can I go out until 11 o'clock? Wait a minute. So then now you must start having the conversation again. Okay, when it comes to this is how we feel. How do you feel about it? And on this thing. So it's a continuous thing. And I think accepting that it helps, unlike expecting it to be an instant result.
Yeah.
So giving yourself grace and understanding that sometimes I'm going to go back, but what's important is to acknowledge, ask for forgiveness from your child and yourself, and start again. Yeah.
So on that note, Joey, what would you say is your whole mama truth?
Embracing the discomfort of parenting. It is just like that. Parenting comes with discomfort. We can't change it. So embracing the discomfort of parenting. Let's say as much as we wish it was. Yeah. Very uncomfortable most times, but joyful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pleasure. That's so deep.
And so where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram as Joey Dlamini. I'm on YouTube as Unlearning with Joey. On TikTok, I'm not sure what I'm doing there, but I'm there as Joey Dlamini.
I always love chatting to Joey and reading her captions and following her stories on social media, because I feel like she's always sharing such great, relatable, easy to execute ways of us to become more intentional parents. What was your biggest takeout from this episode? Are you a parent who believes in disciplining your children the old-fashioned way? Or are you trying to become a bit more of a gentle, more conscious parent? Or do you believe in a bit of a mix of the two? Let me know in the comments below. And if this episode resonated with you in any way, please remember to share it on social media. Tag me at Aisha and Life. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So please go ahead and follow me there. Once again, I'm Aisha O'Reilly, and I hope this episode has left you feeling a little bit more whole, Mama.